In the spirit of truth and reconciliation, we would like to acknowledge that this meeting is happening on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We thank you for allowing us to live, work, and play on their traditional ancestry territory. So thank you for everybody for joining us today. We were meant to have this session a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, that had to be postponed, but I'm glad that everybody is here today. The meeting will focus on a few different areas. First, we'll walk through some of our advocacy files that we've been tracking, some of those hot button top issues that have emerged over the last couple of months. And then we'll also introduce Shawna Lang, our new Director of Sales and Revenue Optimization, to speak about cost-saving membership benefits and other programs that can help the bottom line. And we've also got Justin Friesen here with the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan, one of our business partners, that we will get into the depths of CHHP and how that can also benefit the hotel. And we also have a Q&A to go along with that. So an advocacy update, and I think Gareth is going to launch a poll around this time. So feel free to enter your results or your answers into the poll. We won't go into every single file that we're working on, but highlight a few key priorities that are particularly active at the moment. These will give you a sense of where our advocacy efforts are really standing right now. And some of the things that we're working on your behalf as the industry. I'm excited to share, and this has been shared with our advocacy funding partners, but we've brought on Council Public Affairs in the last couple of months. Their expertise will really help us engage with government and more effectively position the organization and the hotel sector to ensure that we have an impact. We'll be working hand in hand with their teams to ensure that the voice of BC accommodation sector is truly heard. And together, we're also establishing a clear and accountable framework that supports engagement and government partner priorities, aligning transparency and the team. So a quick introduction here to the team themselves. We have a team of 4 that are located across the province with Amanda, Jean-Marc, Christina, and Stephen that will be leading the charge with all of this work. Thank you for filling out those polls there. Next slide, Gareth, if I can. So emergency preparedness. Many of you have heard from us. Many of you have heard from other industry folks around emergency management and climate readiness. This has been an ongoing file. As you know, the BCHA led the development of a emergency booking platform that had been piloted over the last year. And at the end of April, we learned that the funding from government, and so the emergency booking platform was then no longer active. We had been very clear with Minister Green and also had a lot of support from Minister Spencer Chandra-Herbert around this piece. But unfortunately, the Minister of Emergency Management has really not moved their decision. And so right now, the booking platform is still defunct. You may have seen just yesterday, I was interviewed on CBC along with Minister Green. There seems a real unwillingness to even consider accommodations from the Emergency Management Ministry. And so we continue working with a group of other stakeholders with Tyre BC, with the BC DMOA, and other industry leaders to keep this file going. We really feel, particularly with the fires over this weekend on the island, and the fact that we're now heading into the hottest part of the season, that other fires will start to take impact. And on top of that, other emergency situations as well. So we're continuing to keep the pressure on this file. However, we really feel that the ministry has made their decisions, and so we want to make sure that we continue to be there as a support. However, the accommodation sector cannot be responsible for emergency management, which is really key. Just to note as well, Spencer, our tourism minister, has recently been shuffled into Indigenous Relations. I've had the opportunity to meet with Minister Kang, who is the new Minister of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport. It's a very positive shift in leadership here, and Minister Kang is very open to working with us in our initial conversations. However, we still struggle with the work that we're doing with Minister Green and even the Premier's office. The process without a centralized platform, of course, it means that volunteers and emergency services are calling around and manually collecting hotel availability data, which of course isn't accurate within half an hour of collecting it. Evacuees are now expected to register for a new $200 a day shelter allowance, and that's delivered by e-transfer. Again, this doesn't account for mass evacuations. It's for smaller communities. And the piece that is also quite concerning is the fact that once folks are using this $200 shelter allowance, we can't track where they are. We don't know where they've gone. They could have gone across the border or into another province. And so really trying to let the government know that the emergency booking platform is a really consolidated tool that they should be using. We're also working with our regional partners, as I mentioned, to make sure that this is continued to be top of mind. Destination competitiveness. So MRDT, we know that MRDT is always a constant conversation. This is a joint effort between the local destination marketing organizations, the municipality, and having hotels having a say in how that funding is distributed. The structure is still seen as one of the most solid structures of tourism levies, not just in Canada, but globally as well. That pot of investment continues to grow as we see the strengthening of the tourism and visitor economy. But it is something that we need to continue to make sure that we are keeping top of mind and ensuring that the funds are being used in the best possible way. Destination BC maintaining their or increasing their investment into tourism marketing is really key. I'm excited that our past CEO, Ingrid, is now chair of the board for Destination BC effective August 1st. I think that is an incredible opportunity to commercialize some of the thinking within Destination BC. And so we'll be working very closely together on that piece. And for those of you that were at the summit and may have heard me speak over the last few months, really wanted to note the work that Alberta is doing on that competitive front. Alberta has never had a provincial-wide DMF or a provincial-wide tourism levy, and they are producing that's going in front of legislature in the next few weeks, with the intent that Alberta will have a provincial-wide DMF set for 2026. This could work in our favor to work closely together with Alberta. We know that our international visitors that are coming to Canada are not just staying within one province. They're going across the border into Alberta. They're perhaps on Rocky Mountaineer or itineraries that take them through the Rockies. And so there is an opportunity. And as I work more now with the new minister, Minister Kang, of how we can collaborate with Alberta as they start to collect this pot of funding that is new to them. And just to note as well, there's been some changes in Alberta as well. The city of Calgary has increased its DMF from 3% to 5%. And so there is a definite push in Alberta to raise funds to be put directly into the visitor economy and tourism marketing. And so it's anticipated that the pot of investment from Alberta will range from $80 to $130 million per year. So definitely adding to that competitiveness that we haven't seen from Alberta in the past. FIFA World Cup. I get asked, I think, almost daily now about our thoughts and FIFA World Cup. I'll be very open, transparent that working with FIFA's accommodation team has been slow. It hasn't been the easiest of relationships. And we're always very clear that this FIFA World Cup is different from other World Cups that have been seen. This FIFA World Cup is over 3 countries. In Canada, it's split between 2 locations, so we have a handful of games. And so that makes it different. It's also in the height of our summer season, and so this is another great piece of business in an already busy period of time. And so we're making sure that we are clear with FIFA to ensure that they understand that we have other pieces of business that we will be working towards as well. We want to ensure that there's the opportunity to showcase all of BC during these times as well, not just Vancouver. And so working with Destination BC as part of a tourism task force to build itineraries that are beyond just Vancouver and into the region and ensure that there's a lasting legacy. If we think back to 2010 and the Winter Olympics, the legacy work that was done between Destination Canada, Destination BC, and our tourism partners, we want to ensure that there's a long-term gain just beyond the couple of weeks that World Cup will be here in town. Hotel development. So as we know, many BC communities have an urgent need for new hotels capacity. The BCHA worked very closely with Destination Vancouver and Royce on this file and launched the Hotel Development Impact Report, which was launched at Summit back in April. The report really does highlight some of the key policies and strategic lens of how to develop new properties or when the time is right to develop a new property. And we're already seeing some change with the Vancouver City Council, reducing red tape, also reducing fees, and looking at ways to be creative. We've got a record high right now of 68 projects potentially in the works. We know that we won't realize all of those, but 11,000 additional rooms into the region will be incredible. If you're looking to get more information on the report, though, you can scan the QR code here and access the report right from here. We're excited, though. There's been an increase in properties that have planned. Victoria has a new Hyatt property that will be coming online. We know in Vancouver, Le Germain hotel has bought an office building. And so there are a number of projects that are really starting to come to life. And so it will take time. Certainly, the question that I get asked is, are these rooms going to be ready for FIFA? Absolutely not. But they will be ready for us by the time we get to 2030 and really looking to achieve those tourism revenues at that time. The cost of doing business, again, for those of you that have heard me, I have been majorly surprised at the cost of doing business for hotels compared to being in the industry a number of years ago. We know that insurance premiums have skyrocketed, inflation, labor costs are rising, the additional pressure on WorkSafe premiums, supply chain disruptions, small and medium operators. Those are the folks that are really at risk. We're going to be doing some work over the next few months to identify all of those cost centers and then start to do some work. We've done some very brief research, and if you look at the cost of operating a hotel in downtown Vancouver or in Victoria, we know that, those costs are considerably higher than they would be in some of the more regional and rural. I've been on the road for a couple of weeks. I was up in Prince George just a couple of weeks ago and heard as well from there the cost of building, the cost of operating is just skyrocketing all across the province. So it isn't just the major centers as well. Um, our workforce trends. So this is something that is really starting to become a challenge. And as I've done part of the Summer of Love tour across the province, it's clear that this is one of the top priorities to address. It's workforce, it's the challenges around visas and the LMIA processes. The sector is facing a severe workforce challenge, and that will be certainly worsened by 2026. Barriers to getting immigration and seasonal work permits is becoming harder and harder, and there is a real slowdown of process and obtaining work visas for many hotels that are already operating below capacity of their teams is putting some additional pressure. The resorts are seeing seasonal operations hit hard. So whether that's summer resorts or winter resorts, and the current system doesn't recognize the unique labor needs of the hospitality sector. We're also working closely with the Hotel Association of Canada to ensure that there is access to government-funded hiring practices and procedures. And Shawna will talk a little bit about our Destination Canada Mobility Forum, which is one way of trying to bring in new international workers into the workforce for 2025 and 2026. So as we continue to advocate on your behalf, we really want to ensure that there is a way to also increase the domestic workforce. We know that we are limited with the international workforce, and so we will be doing some more work on this side of the pond as well. We have just launched yesterday our workforce survey through our LinkedIn channel and through our member portal. So please feel free to respond to that. You can also access the survey through the QR code on the screen. But your input is truly critical as we look to see how we can build the workforce and ensure that those labor limitations don't come into effect in 2026. And so as much information that we can gain from you on the ground will really help us as we start to work with government and share We know anecdotally we have hotels that have 30, 40, 50% of their workforce that are on visas. And I'm hearing that all across the province. And so we want to ensure that we're not in a similar situation as we were during the pandemic, where we were closing down various operations of hotels because we simply didn't have enough staff to accommodate. And so with that, I will hand over to Shawna.
Great. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, everyone, for welcoming me to my first industry update call. Great to hear about all the advocacy work. And I get the opportunity. I've spent the last few weeks learning about all of our members, member benefits and programs. And now I get the chance to share them with you, many of them addressing some of the advocacy that Paul is working on. So our programs address those needs, address sustainability, and address the bottom line savings right back to our membership. So I'll just jump to the next slide. Today, we represent over 650 members, of course, hotels, motels, resorts, but 150 of our members, 150 plus of our members are businesses with interests in hospitality. And so being a member at BCHA means you get access to exclusive programs designed, as I mentioned, to reduce costs. These extend from insurance to health benefits, energy efficiency, different procurement programs. I wanted to just take a minute to recognize some of our premier programs that deliver some of these savings and real value, and specifically designed for those of us here in the hospitality business. We will hear from Justin in a moment about our health benefit plan, so I'll save the excitement and all the details for Justin to share. But some other programs I wanted to share and just to highlight, and please refer to our website or reach out for more information on them. Food Buy is our partner which maximizes savings on food and operational supplies, offering our members access to nationwide suppliers and providers, and puts rebates from purchasing directly into your pocket. SonaPay is a Canadian-owned payment processing solution partner of ours. They offer low, flat, reliable fees and extend member-exclusive pricing to BCHA members. Western Financial has been a partner with BCHA for more than 15 years, offers our member-only program, providing participants with typically 8 to 10% savings in rates off existing policies, and then potential returns through shared premiums. Ecolab offers BCHA members exclusive savings on cleaning and sanitation solutions, and Sherwin-Williams offers BCHA members commercial discounts, color consultations with specific brand-related products and products specific to the hospitality industry. So those are some of our programs you can take a look at in further detail on our website, or reach out for more information. We'll just flip to the next slide. We are so excited to announce the return of our in-house virtual training program, Fast Track Your Future, and we've just released the full schedule for the upcoming season. You can check out our website for registration. It's now open and live. This year, we're offering programs built on popular favorites and more of our popular programs like financial leadership, housekeeping, human resources, while taking into consider some feedback and some of those advocacy and some of those things we're hearing in the marketplace around marketing communications, guest services, for example, building on our existing program. Fast Track is a great way to support individual teams development, or we offer flexible pricing for an entire hotel team to take programs and participate to grow together. So please reach out to us if you're interested in any of those Fast Track programs. As Paul was mentioning, and we've heard from members, challenges are increasing related to labor and potentially growing. So to address that, and thank you to the Francophone Mobility Program, the BCHA will again attend the Destination Canada Mobility Forum, where we will connect participating hotels with pre-screened, motivated candidates that are actively looking to work and seek life in Canada. So this program and platform works really well for some of those harder to fill roles like room attendants, front desk agents, cooks, The program offers a streamlined path to hiring, as Paul mentioned, with no LMIA required. So this is a little bit more cost effective, a low barrier option to address some ongoing labor shortages across all different operations. So as the BCHA, we're happy to do the legwork for you. We can represent your property at both the virtual and in-person hiring events in Belgium, France, Morocco, and Tunisia, where we can connect directly with, you can take our quick poll there for a quick pulse check. We'll connect job seekers, so those looking to work and come to Canada. We'll assess the candidates, match them to your job needs, and then what happens is you receive the resumes, vetting notes, and next steps, and we do the travel and the legwork for you. So please reach out to Carissa if you want any information on that, and we're in the planning stages now for that program. Next, I'd like to talk about our Go Green program. So if you're a property looking to cut energy costs or increase your sustainability, our Go Green program is a great first step. So what happens with this program, it starts with a complimentary virtual and energy analysis. And we'll look at your property, how you use energy, where savings can maybe be found. From there, you get support from Ali, our energy advisor, where he might be able to identify applicable rebates and cost-saving opportunities. And once you, as a property, understand and get to know what upgrades or changes might make sense for your operation, a great next step is the Green Step Eco Fund. So what Eco Fund does is helps build a dedicated sustainability budget for hotels. It's a guest funded, an eco fee on a room night, and allows hotels to finance energy, water, waste reduction projects without even touching or impacting operating budget. This has been a proven great program that clearly saves money and clearly helps reduce environmental impact. We are very close and excited to be very close to securing a location and venue and dates for Summit in April 2026. So please stay tuned for announcements there. Whether you are a member that you may want to attend as a delegate or interested in sponsoring or being part of our hospitality marketplace, this event is a great opportunity to connect with other hotels in our community and industry, gain insights, and help work together on shaping the future of our industry. So we're really excited and can't wait to welcome you all next April. And so stay tuned, watch this space. And now I get to pass it over to Justin to talk about excitement in the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Shawna. So I'm here just to give a high-level overview of the program and how things have progressed over. It's been almost 2 years since the program was initially launched by the British Columbia Hotel Association and Alberta Hotel and Lodging Association. But really to capture the essence of this program, it was established by the two associations with investment to bring hotels together through a mechanism that really properly leverages their purchasing power through an owned model. So participants actually own this program collectively and pool their benefits together. And it really mimics the way big companies set up their benefits plans, companies with over hundreds of employees. And it's done a really great job of reducing premiums for members. And ultimately, it cuts out the markup that insurance companies apply on traditional plans, which smaller and medium-sized hotels would typically be subjected to. So what we know is that it has been listed as one of the primary concerns, rising costs. This is a real way to reduce one of your major cost items on your statement and bring some bottom line savings. But the other thing that is really amazing about this program too is that it is intended to support the industry through an industry-owned initiative that understands the nature of hospitality and some of the difficulties that you're facing. So there's some aspects of the plan that offers some additional supports and services for working with hospitality employees. And that, ultimately that will help you to attract and retain those individuals and support the employees with some of the challenges that they have. Gareth, if you could move on, that'd be great. Thanks.
Right. So I think we'll bring Paul in again here to have a little bit of a broader conversation on the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan. Justin, if you don't mind answering a few questions about the plan itself.
Sure, of course. Thanks.
Getting to the grilling situation here, Justin. Questions.
Thanks.
And for the folks on the call as well, if you have questions and you want to start populating them into the chat, we can come to those after when we've got time. Justin, as you know, I'm a big supporter of the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan. Coming into the organization and seeing the incredible work that was done between Alberta Hotel and Lodging and BCHA, I think it really does set the stage and provides that professional benefits program to the hospitality sector that's been missing. And it also allows small independent properties to have a benefits plan that maybe couldn't afford to buy into a bigger program. Since the launch of CHHP, have you seen some real standout success stories that you'd be able to share?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that's really come to our attention in seeing what hoteliers are struggling with is there's two things that really stand out. One is that so many employees do not have a doctor. And it's astonishing also how many uh, benefits plans have not addressed that need in supporting these individuals with a way of connecting to a doctor efficiently. So the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan, as a base point, and this was very intentional on the part of both associations that set it up, was that it has a comprehensive virtual health program so that if an employee does not have a doctor in their particular area, and a lot of hotels are in geographic areas with doctor shortages, that's quite prevalent across the country, they can now get connected to a doctor within an hour. And it's really efficient too. We've had so much positive feedback from hotel leadership that their employees so much appreciate now being able to quickly get connected to a medical professional and not having to take a full day off to see a doctor. So that's one thing. And another thing that is very common is that we see leadership really faced with a lot of challenges relating to mental health.
Hmm.
And the Employee and Family Assistance Program that the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan delivers through Homewood Health is a great tool for giving leaders a mechanism to refer their staff to a service that can really support them for a vast array of mental health issues. So it's very comprehensive, and leadership has expressed strong appreciation in how that program is supporting their workers. And we just know how that particular challenge can really affect a hotel in terms of the team dynamic and the organizational culture that is so dependent on mental health.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I've used the teledoc myself, and it's quick, easy, and in parts of the province we do really struggle with getting
Yeah.
access to a doctor, and so it's a great benefit. Another piece that I haven't used yet, but I'm going on holiday soon, so I'm looking forward to using it, is the travel insurance component, and just being in the portal and seeing how easy the travel insurance has been. But can you speak to that benefit? Because we are in tourism and hospitality.
Mhm.
We like to travel both professionally and personally. And so can you share a little bit on that front?
Yeah, that's actually a good point, and it's another thing that we were quite surprised by. Uh, Managers have often found employees buying travel coverage when they actually have a very good travel plan through the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan, or even whatever other plan they might be part of. So typically, these plans will provide travel coverage. But what's really important to point out is that the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan delivers the number one travel wording in Canada. So you'll hear often that, in the news, you'll hear circumstances where someone had left the country and was denied coverage due to something called a stability clause. And this program does not have a stability clause for any workers under age 70. And that's that's huge. That's really nice for an employer to know that they're sending their staff off with the best travel wording available in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we look at some of the features and benefits, I know that the plan can be tailored. There are some of our hotels that are signing up for more elements within the plan. Just looking at our overall numbers, I think when I was reviewing the most recent numbers that you sent through, I think last week, we've had 11 new properties sign up in BC. So that's positive to see that growth. And just to reiterate, this is a plan that is owned by the BC Hotel Association and Alberta Hotel and Lodging. So it's not it is our business. And so as the folks that are on the call, appreciate that it is our business that we're operating. It's not a third party that we're endorsing. This is our specific business.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What BCHA in Alberta did very creatively was that they set up a not-for-profit corporation. And it is through that not-for-profit corporation that hoteliers can collectively emulate what big corporations and public entities are able to do. And that is they remove that cost, what's called a risk charge from an insurance company on the health and dental, because you have such a large group of participants that you have both the spread of risk and predictability. That's a real cost saving that's permanent. And it's, I mean, to be quite frank, as someone who's seen insurance programs across the country through major corporations and public entities, this is the gold standard of setting up a benefits plan. And hoteliers should know that it's been made possible exclusively because of the investment that your associations have been made. So, and this is why it grows every month. So I know many of the people on this call are already on. I've seen lots of familiar names, but every month we are supporting hoteliers in realizing the cost reductions and plan enhancements through this program.
Yeah, we've got some great advocates out there. Some of our board members that were the first to sign up and see some of those benefits. But then so we're seeing some really positive growth, and we do work very closely with Alberta as well on the growth plan. We've had another province that was very interested in coming into the plan as a partner, but this is a business that's owned by Alberta and BC. Justin, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to lob it to you anyway. We've been talking about the potential of a pension plan, and something that is a passion for me. And again, going back to the earlier comments of really supporting the sector and professionalizing the benefits and some of those benefits back to employees. We're in early days, but do you want to share some thoughts around the Canadian Hospitality Pension Plan and potential timings of when we could, I'm really putting you on the spot now, potential timings of when we might see that come to fruition?
Yeah, this is an exciting initiative, and it's another thing that's being made possible through this creatively structured not-for-profit. But a few things that I'll just say to whet everyone's appetite. I think we know this, but there's real numbers out there which demonstrate that hospitality workers are among the least prepared financially for their future. And it's really sad. It's a huge industry, and you hear of so many industries where there's great pension programs available, and workers feel a sense of pride and assurance that they have a financial future and they're cared for. And there's a few things about those pension plans that are really unique. And what's in the works is a pension plan that will be specifically for the hospitality industry, that hospitality employers and workers can join. And what's also unique about it is that it will be portable, so that when someone at a young age joins the hospitality industry, they can be part of that pension plan throughout the duration of their career. And I think that means a lot. It's something that can follow the worker and make sure they're looked after right through to retirement.
Yeah, I love that portability piece. That was one of the most exciting bits of our conversation over the last few weeks.
Yeah, there's a real void out there, and I think it's just, it's required a lot of work. But um, in terms of the launch, this is likely something that could be made available, within a business quarter.
Um, we've talked about labor and those workforce shortages. How can CHHP support employers to strengthen and keep employees with them?
Well, one thing that we have seen is a lot of employee benefits plans across the country, and the one thing we always like to do in working with members is give them some insight in terms of how their plan stacks up against others in the industry or even in other sectors to help them better promote their own plan within their organization for existing employees, but also for prospective employees, because it means a lot when you're promoting your organization to be able to say, we have a great plan that can support you. So that type of insight we can give you. And when we look at your plans, we will also help you to promote some of the unique aspects of plans that aren't being properly utilized and that really reflect well on employees and workers. Yeah.
Yeah. I know from some of our conversations, you said that you speak to some hotel, whether it's GMs or hotel operators, hotel owners. There's some misconceptions out there. There's also long-term relationships with benefit plan providers. What
Mhm.
are some of those bigger hurdles that you can help overcome, and certainly the misconceptions of CHHP, and how we can have more of BC hotels, and all across Canada. As we know, we sell CHHP all across Canada, not just in Alberta, BC, except Quebec. Always the asterisk, except Quebec. But this is a plan across the country, but some of those misconceptions, perhaps.
I've seen the work that BCHA and Alberta have done, and the one thing that I was really interesting was that some of the major brands were watching your associations, and Best Western was one of them. And Best Western is they conduct a lot of due diligence when it comes to putting their brand on anything related to insurance. Best Western last year chose to bring the Canadian Hospitality Health Plan into their own endorsed supplier program. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Um, some of the things in regard to relationships, I understand a lot of business owners have certain relationships that are very important. Local is also important. The one thing I would make, one remark I would make is this: is you couldn't find a more local program being a collective owner. So that's that's something that I think a lot of providers would understand and respect. The other maybe misconception that I've seen is that a GM might have a recollection of the last time they changed providers, and it was a major undertaking. And things have changed a lot. It's pretty efficient and pretty easy to move over to this plan. And it's only gotten better since the program started too. So the program is administered and adjudicated by a great organization called Johnson Group. They have a team of people that will support hotels whenever they transition. And the overarching objective always is to make sure it's a positive experience and not a rushed experience.
Thank you. Um, Gareth is going to launch a quick poll here around CHHP. And thank you, Justin, for the insights. And we're going to move to some Q&A. So feel free to drop some questions into the chat. I see Fran there had said many of the allied partners are from the States. So Food Buy, for example, we work with the Canadian arm of Food Buy, and have been working closely with them to also build out more of their Canadian products, specifically as we are in this world of tariffs and all of those pieces. Obviously, CHHP is Canadian owned and operated by BCHA and Alberta Hotel and Lodging. And then Western Financial Group, our insurance provider, is Canadian. And we do have right now O'Connor, which is a property tax assessment company that is US based, and looking at additional Canadian operators on that side of the equation. So making sure that we have Canadian operated and or owned businesses that are our allied partners. Any other questions? Would love to hear from folks, and thank everybody for their time today. It's a beautiful sunny day in Vancouver, and summer is definitely here.
We do have a couple that have come through in the Q&A box here, probably both for Shawna. So we'll start off this first one here. Are there any discounts or bundle options for properties that want to enroll multiple team members in Fast Track?
Absolutely. We love that. Yeah, we have flexible pricing. So hotels, as we said, it's a nice opportunity to help support individuals, but also have teams go through the different training programs together. So a hotel can register up to 12 people. And yeah, we have that on the website, and we can make that happen.
Second question here. Has there been any challenges with the Francophone mobility program?
Oh, that's a good question. Not that has been brought to our attention. In fact, quite opposite. Lots of positive stories and outcomes as a result of the program. And again, some of the benefits being MLA exempt program works really well right now. As well, the other bonus of the program is work permits are valid for 2 years, and employees can bring their family to join them in Canada as well. We're happy to connect with some of our properties that have had success in this program. If somebody wants to read some testimonials or have a personal introduction to maybe hear some personal stories, we're happy to make that happen. But yeah, nothing that's been brought to our attention.
I think it's also good to note that we've heard anecdotally that the federal government does not plan to make any changes to the current visa situation and the limitations. So this is really one of the last visas that's intact, that they're not touching right now, they're not reducing right now. So it is one of the few avenues that we have.
Yeah. Thanks.
Paul, one for you here. So how is council helping BCHA on advocacy? Will there be a year-end report like last year?
Absolutely. Oh, am I? Yeah, I thought I put myself on mute there. Yes, we are working with council on all of our files. We're just developing a government relations advocacy strategy that will be going out to our advocacy funders. In the recent years, we've received funding through our DMO partners that has gone towards our advocacy work. And we are continuing to do that. So by the end of this month, we'll have a complete advocacy buy-in and plan that will be available. We provide quarterly updates, and since taking on the role with BCHA, I've ensured that there is those quarterly updates with presentations and takeaways and pre-reads, and then there will be a half year and end of year wrap report on all of the work that we do through council. So absolutely.
Good. Fairly quiet on the Q&A and chat box at the moment. I'll throw in one question here, Paul.
No.
Come on, I'm allowed to do that, right? Question just about the workforce survey. What is our plan coming out of that once we do get a little bit feedback from our membership base? What are we going to be doing with that data and the findings that we get?
Yeah, so that will be a file certainly that council will be working with us on. We'll go through that data, and we're hoping that we can really understand the crunch. And we're hearing it anecdotally. We know that visas are coming to an end towards the end of this year and then into 2026. I've spent time over the last few weeks talking with frontline staff that are on visas as well. So we know that crunch anecdotally is there. So what we're hoping to understand is the percentage of the workforce across the province that are on visas to then start to look at overall numbers. And we'll look at that research and insights, and then start to form an ask of government. The one great thing that I learned in my first meeting with Minister Kang, the new tourism minister, is that she has had the immigration file in the past. And so I think that will be quite helpful for us. One of the biggest asks is we want to ensure that we can maintain the same number of visas. But in addition to that, the ask is that BC recognizes the path to permanent residency, which right now that isn't the case. It is the case in other provinces like Alberta, and so that will be part of our ask that goes into government.
Thanks for that.
I'll allow that question.
Okay, well, if no one else has any questions to add here in the last few minutes, I'm not seeing anything else come through. So we could probably wrap up a little bit early.
Give folks their 8 minutes back. Thank you, everybody. Great to see so many folks on the call. Appreciate your time, and look forward to working on your behalf.